Okay. How to show HUD homes. Now, this is something very interesting that's coming up right now. Starting October 1st, they're changing all of the key codes again. A year ago, we were told that they were changing them to 4 different keys. We have a key ring of 6 because those 4 never came around. We ended up using the old HUD keys. So, and we're required to have every property on a lockbox. Matt Martin and PIMCO, I don't know, but Home Telos requires us to have all of these properties on a lockbox. The issue is they're supposed to be on Supras. You don't have to be a member of HAR to be qualified to submit a bid. So there's the issue with that. Not everybody is a member of HAR and has a Supra, so we can't not allow them to show because they are allowed to submit. So we do have lock boxes that are just the combos. Unfortunately, that does lead to people being sneaky and taking things that they shouldn't be taking, stealing keys, stealing signs. It's one of those things, unfortunately. So we do have ours on HUD homes. But anyway, they're coming up with 3 new key codes. And I don't know what they are. Home Telos has only told us 2, but I don't remember. I have them written down on my desk. But we're not allowed to sell those keys. You're not allowed to go out and make them unless you are a HUD designated listing broker. And so starting October 1st, any new assignments we get should only be on those 3 key codes. However, a year ago, they told us that with 4 different key codes, and none of those ever came around except maybe 5. So just preparing you. If you go out there and you say, oh, I have a HUD key, this will work, and you get out there and your HUD key doesn't work, it means they've switched the codes finally. So we'll see how this works out October 1st. But what I know is you can't go out and buy HUD keys. You just can't do it anymore. So please help us out and tell your friends, your realtor friends, to not steal our keys. They're very expensive to replace. We have that problem all the time. And we're supposed to leave our lock boxes and signs out a day after closing so you and your client can go over to the home, unlock the house because they don't get keys at closing. Clearly, it's a HUD key. They can open every house. So they have to change the locks. So we're required to do that. But some people are sneaky, and we go out there to pick up our sign lockbox, and something's missing. Either the keys, the lockboxes, or the sign. So just tell your friends, please don't steal our keys. Yes?
So you're saying that any of us that have keys right now, they're not going to work possibly after October 1st.
Right.
But there'll be lockboxes on every listing.
They should be. For Home Telos, yes. Okay. PIMCO and Matt Martin, I don't know what they're doing yet.
But the way it's supposed to work.
Yes.
So that's the only way we'll be able to get in.
Correct.
Possibly after October 1st.
Correct. But with that being said, it's not a bad idea to keep your HUD keys with you in case if you already have a set, it's not a bad idea because if you get out there and that key is stolen, but you have your keys and they work, well, more power to you. Because we have that problem a lot too. People call us and say, there's no key. Well, that means someone took it. Someone got excited and took off with it.
So we're going to have to call and make appointments for
Correct.
houses.
Our properties will tell you where to make the appointments. But we require appointments on all of them because we want the most feedback that we can get. Any feedback, even terrible feedback, is always appreciated on these homes. It really helps us let HUD know what these properties are about. I think that's about it. I mean, one more thing about Home Telos, we're required to go out to these properties every Sunday and do an inspection. So if you get out there on Monday or Tuesday after we've already been there and you realize there's no key or AC is missing and there's a picture of it on MLS or something's askew, please give us a call and let us know because we were just there on Sunday. Sometimes these FSMs go out there and change the locks and don't tell us. So we've had that come up a few times and then we're left wondering like, well, what key is it then? So just let us know. But if it's a Saturday or Sunday morning, because we usually try to do Sunday afternoon, if it's Saturday or Friday and you see that there's a key missing, give us a call so we know that to take a key out there next time we go. just kind of let us know.
Speaking of that, so are you saying that your company owns these HUD homes? Is that where you're going to go and do the inspection?
No, we don't own these properties. We represent Home Telos. Home Telos manages them. And so we're the listing broker. We just have to go out there and make sure they're still standing and nothing's been taken. So we go out there every weekend, holidays, doesn't matter. We go out there, we make sure the property's still in the same condition. If your property is under contract and there was an AC when it went under contract, not when your bid was accepted, when it was after it was executed and the AC goes missing, we will let you know by email. So just keep an eye on your email at all times, because we'll email you, HUD will be emailing you. You just never know. It's hard to do. Well, when that happens, we'll let you know, and I will personally tell you, contact Home Telos to see what they want you to do, because they are supposed to allow a credit at closing for that. However, I've heard that that's not happening anymore. But at that MCE class that I was just at less than a month ago, they told me they are allowing credits as long as it was already an executed contract. If you submitted your bid Monday, the AC goes missing Tuesday, and you got it accepted Tuesday afternoon, you're buying it anyway. They're not going to credit you. Only if it was already executed. If it was executed Wednesday, the AC goes missing Thursday, then you can get a credit. But not if it's in limbo between bid acceptance and contract execution. Between that, you're still buying it as is.
Do you have option period so you can look that up?
It's not a traditional option period that we're used to, and it's really only for owner occupants. It's 15 days. Within those 15 days, they can do inspections, and if anything comes up, they can get out of the contract. HUD's not going to reduce the sales price.
Does HUD repair any houses?
No. No repairs.
As far as the bidding, let's say if they're asking 100,000, how much can you lower? Do you know?
I don't know. Generally speaking, they don't take much less than what they're asking for. But, if you see a property that's been on the market for a while and you think, wow, that's overpriced, submit any kind of bid that, even if you think it's ridiculous, waste of your time, submit it anyway. It really helps us out to get them to lower the price.
Great, that was good, Katie. I want to clarify a couple of things. Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll add a couple of things and then answer any questions. One, about that repair escrow. Okay, I did hear the answer to that.
Okay.
So I want to clarify the repair escrow for you. And that is, HUD allows certain properties with repair escrows. They may say $1,000 for the air compressor. Okay? Well, it takes $2,500 for the air compressor. You cannot mark it up. You get $1,000 for the air compressor, and if you're getting FHA financing, the lender is required to inspect and make sure you put a new air conditioner in it. And you only got $1,000 for it from them. You got to call up the other $1,500 yourself. Okay? You can't add that to the price and get extra money. Cannot do that. That's not acceptable. So if that's not going to work, you may need to get other type of financing. The other thing is, you can't just waive the repair escrow. If
No.
they put it with a repair escrow, you got to do whatever they say to do in order to get complete lender compliance at the end. So you got to do it.
Unless you're doing cash.
Cash, yes, or
Cash,
other financing.
yeah.
Other than FHA financing.
If it's
Correct.
FHA, it has to do the escrow.
Right. And so I just wanted to clarify on that point. The other thing is, just remember in your head. And there's a lot of rules. You hear all that? It's really pretty easy once you get into it. Just remember it's as is, where is, together with all faults. They ain't doing nothing. If in doubt, will they fix it? Will they do this? Will they do that? The answer is usually no. So just get it right in your head. It ain't happening. So get over it. They're selling these things, dumping them. Whatever you get, what you see is what you get. What you don't see is also what you get.
Also, time is very much of the essence.
Time
Absolutely.
Once it goes, I
3 p.m.
submitted 3
Yeah.
offers to the same house, and I finally got it for like $2,000 less.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
right.
had the
And
contract every time, and something
goes wrong, or you miss a
UPS
deadline, or
did not
FedEx
pick up
doesn't
the
get it there by
package.
3 o'clock. If it's there at 3:30, you're screwed.
That's
You've
right.
got to start
They'll
over
cancel
again.
it.
That's right.
And that's how it works. So as long as you understand that everybody's treated the same and it all works the same way, you can learn to live with it.
I'm
And
sorry.
that's your blue ink pen. Throw out your black ink. forget it.
I'm sorry, I forgot one thing. When you're submitting these contracts, you have 30 days to close on cash, 45 for financing. Period. 30 for cash, 45 for financing. Home telos only. PIMCO and Matt Martin are different.
And any extension beyond that, you pay for it, and your buyer pays for it, and they don't get it credited back to them. Even we had one or two that went on because there were title problems. The buyer had to keep putting up money for extension fees for about 3 or 4 months. Now, he did get that credited back to him because it was the seller's fault, but in order to keep the contract alive, he had to keep putting up $300 or $400 extension fees every couple of weeks. So
Yes.
it is, that's the way it works. Nobody's different. No options. That's how it is. So,
Is it 30 days or before, or 30 days? 25 days?
No. You can close before if your lender and the closing office will let you. But you're at the mercy of the title company or the closing office. It's Hanson Laporte and Ray Jackson Law Firm. And they'll tell you who to go through, but you're at the mercy of them because they are swamped because they are the only 2 closing offices in all of Houston. So imagine all of Houston can only go to 2 closing offices. They're swamped. So you're at the mercy of them.
yes.
What's the name to the
Hanson Laporte
Hanson Laporte?
and Ray Jackson Law Firm.
They'll notify you who to go to
Yeah.
when you get a contract accepted.
You're not worried about between 203, how many 203 Bs and 203 something?
203Ks, that borrow some money to fix it up deal. Has anyone ever closed one? You've closed one? Okay, 2. So we've got 2 people in this room full of experienced realtors that have closed a 203K. Okay, how easy was it? Testimonies, anyone? Or would you rather have your eyeballs plucked out one at a time rather than deal with another 203K? I hate to say that. It was terrible. And that program sounds great. If Bank of America pushes it, they can't do it. I don't know. You figure it out. I'm just going to say I would avoid it. I'd try to avoid it personally. But there you have it. 203Bs, standard FHAs, yeah, those go okay. That's what we all do, man. That's the business.
And cash is always king.
Cash is king. Cash works
That's the
nice.
easiest to get through.
And these hard money loans. I have a client who bought a couple of these hard properties with hard money loans, and he's behind on his payments. Listen, they send cousin Luigi out there. You know, I'm going to warn you about that. Ooh-wee. They're calling me, and I'm like, I have nothing to do with it. They're trying to strong-arm me. But anyway, let me go off topic for just 1 second and tell you something that Home Telos is about to launch that is probably going to change the way we all do business as realtors once all this foreclosure crap is over with. Okay? If you remember from the 80s, one thing we learned about the foreclosure business, and Katie hadn't even heard this tale, so you might as well hear how this is going to work. In the 80s, when we had all the foreclosures before, the foreclosure companies and the big corporate sellers changed the way we do business forevermore. And we've been following that model since then for negotiation. For example, prior to that, if I wrote an offer on this man's listing, I put it in 5 copies with carbon paper, or if I had a copy machine that worked, I made copies. Put it in a sealed envelope, I drove it over to his office and submitted it with the checks. He'd go and present it, go meet with the sellers, present it, write up a real counter offer, make changes, initial it on all 5 copies, then he'd seal it back up, drive it back over to my office. And back and forth we went. Does anybody remember those days? Well, some technology changed, the fax machines and the telephones, and we began to negotiate offers over the telephone and by fax. You remember that? That was like novel. Nobody knew how to deal with it. The state laws had to be modified to think, are these offers? Are they counter offers? What are they? But we did it. And now it's common practice that you negotiate everything by phone, and then when it's all agreed to, you put it in writing and then sign it all up, correct? You wouldn't think that that's weird. So that's how things changed as a result of that period. Here's what's happening now. Home Telos owns a technology company called BidSelect. You've probably been to bidselect.com. You may be a member. You get a free membership. For $99, you get an annual membership. You're